Hi guys, a little project's coming to do. So 280 RPM, running real slow. And once I've got this though, I can get my boring bar in. Ten-thousandth of an inch equals an overall bore expansion of 20, both sides obviously. So for you guys that are going to watch this that haven't got a lathe, I'm just trying to show the operation and what I'm actually doing, because quite a lot when you see on YouTube somebody making something and you just see, oh, that's hot, I need to let that cool down a bit, that's why it's probably squeaking. You see somebody doing it, and if your camera's close up, which I usually do have a close up with my camera, you can't see the operation. And I'll go through the operation with you. Let's just make sure you can see it all. Yeah, I think you can see everything that you need to. So first of all, to make this lead screw active, it goes through this gearbox, and this lever here, and I showed earlier a video of inside here, you've got a pair of Tufnell gears, all the rest are steel, but they're Tufnell so that they can break. Excuse me, I suppose it's your sacrificial gears if anything jammed up. So if you run it like that, that's just the lathe running, and all you've got is the main spindle going round and that system there operating. None of this is working. I hope you can see that, but none of those gears are going round. That's all static. So all that system in there is purely to drive this gearbox. Tension that way. Comes in a little bit. They say this is not for guys that have got lathes, but for them that haven't, and they're wondering how it all works. So all those gears in there, I'll activate it, and then you can see. Oh, this is a. You can see that lever? No, you can't. That's a clutch. I'll lift the clutch so I don't have to turn the engine off or the motor off. I'll close that up. Well, you don't have to close it, leave it open. If I want this lead screw to go so the carriage cuts that way, I put the lever down. If I want to drive the carriage the other way, I'd put the lever up. So for instance, in that position there, now all that gearbox is going round, as you can see. see that's going to the right now, away from the work. So if you were going to put a piece of metal that way, you'd have that lever in work position. Okay. If you want it to come towards the work, then you put it in that position, which is down. Okay. So then what you saw me doing is using, let's zoom out a little bit more. So using this incremental scale on here, which is in thousandths of an inch because it's an imperial lathe, I can set how many thousandths of an inch I want the cross slide to go in that direction. Well, in this case, because I'm cutting this side, I want it to come towards me, so I'm going backwards on here 10 thou at a time, which gives an overall cut of 20 thou. This lever engages it, and this, you'll see, follows it, which is just your hand wheel if you want to do it by hand. How does that work? So you'll notice when gearbox is running, and the speed of that shaft depends on where you put these gears. So let's let you have a look at those gears. They're a marvellous gearbox. I don't know whether they were made by Myford or Triumph or Norton or whoever, I don't know. If I can get it to come back into focus. Maybe that is. So all these numbers on here, they all correspond to speeds for screw cutting. This lever here lifts up and down, you pull a plunger, move it up and down, and that can be moved along from anywhere between 1 and 8. And it tells you on here what the speeds are with the lever in which position. There's 3 positions of the lever, left, middle or right. And it's all you do is read what you want, the speed. So if I wanted 24, I would have my lever to the left, which it is, I'd have it in the centre, and I'd have it on 6, because that's 6. I've got it on 12, because my lever's to the left, and I'm on 6, so I'm cutting at 12 threads per inch. That's the speed that goes at, as if you were cutting a thread, 12 TPI. So, how does the half nuts work? This lever here, when you lift it up, there's a pair of threaded, it's a nut, pair of jaws, and they're threaded with that thread, which is an Acme thread. That's what it's called, square cut. And it's open there. And when you push that lever down, it closes like that, around that, and the thread then bites onto that, and this whole carriage travels with that screw, whichever way it's going. That's how the half nuts work, and that's how the power feed works. It also has cross power feed that way, but I'm not using it at the moment. I'm just using that, so I'm not stood here winding the handle continually. Saves you a lot of work. A great addition if you've got a lathe that's got one, it's great. If you haven't got a lathe at all and you're considering buying one, I'd certainly look for power feed. It's very handy. Screw cutting gearbox, unless you pay a lot of money, you're not going to get one, because even some of these Myfords, they don't come with a screw cutting gearbox. It's an extra as such. I was lucky I found this one with all the bits and bats on it. So, okay, I've digressed a bit, but I'm just trying to imagine who might watch this on YouTube, and I know there's a lot of guys that I know that probably watch it, and I watch them, and we give each other comments and stuff. Well, they all know this. I can't tell them how to suck eggs because they know all this. But a lot of people that are watching YouTube, maybe for the first time or watched it before, and you know, they'd probably just see something being cut and think, well, how to do that? Well, now you know. That's how I do it. I'm running inverter, so I'll tell you what speed we're running that at. I will slow that down as I get further out when the hole gets bigger, because it's the surface speed of the metal, and obviously the bigger the diameter, the faster that surface speed is, and it'll probably start screeching. 448 RPM and 33.2 hertz, 33.3 hertz, which we can alter the speed of that by just turning it up or down. And that's a 10-turn pot, so I can set that quite accurately. With a single turn pot, it's not that easy to adjust your frequency. With that, I can turn it and turn it and turn it. You can see that. Right. So it's stopped. 0. Why is it being noisy? Because I've got all those gears running. Let's take it out. Be quiet. Right. It's quieter now. So if I want to run at 300 RPM, I've got a much more accurate, by having a 10-turn pot, chance of getting 300 RPM. RPM equals 22.4 hertz on my inverter. You see how accurate you can be. You know, these lathes, they only come with the standard motor with those speeds there. They're your standard speeds with your standard belts, and by moving your belts around you get different speeds on there. I hope I've helped anybody that's considering buying themselves a lathe. I'm not telling you to buy a Myford lathe. They're lovely lathes, very old, but unfortunately they're very expensive as well. They command stupid prices. You might see odd one going cheap. There's probably got problems with it, no gearbox and no power feed, but yeah, for something, I mean, they're still selling these now. I don't know whether they're still casting them or what, I don't know, but they're building them and selling them, and they're about £10,000. I mean, they're some nearly 9 grand plus that. They do it as a connoisseur, it's called now, but it's more or less the same as that. I think they're a long bed, they've got a slightly longer bed. But don't be put off with Chinese ones and things like that if you're looking for a lathe. I mean, Walco do a nice one. I don't know if Sega do one. There's quite a lot, and I'm sure they're quite a capable lathe. I just fancied an old English one, English engineering, British engineering thing, you know. So that's cooled down a bit. Yeah, that's cooled down a bit now. I'll carry on cutting. I won't show any more of me cutting because it is laborious and I've a lot to do. And it is 10:30 at night. So that wants to be 2147 Imperial. Actually, 2144 without using bore gauges. 2144. So it's on a 0.3. I'm going to let that cool down because it'll shrink when you turning something. It gets hot like that, and it is hot because the swath's all blue. You got to let it cool down because you got quite a few thousandths of an inch of movement. So I'm going to let that cool down, take another measurement and just skim off what I need to.